Hello, my dear students. Welcome to another session of class in ICSE Biology. The topic which we're going to discuss today is one of the interesting topic which you all will enjoy to know. By seeing the graphic, you might have guessed what might be the topic. Yes, here I'm showing the five sense organs: eyes, ear, nose, tongue, and skin. These are the five sense organs which we have. But today we are not going to discuss about all these five. We are concentrating on one of the sense organ which is very sensitive and which is very much necessary to see the world. Yes, it is the eyes. Human eye is very sensitive and important part to see the world. Without eyes, can you imagine your life? No, it is very difficult to lead our life without these eyes. One who is blind, they know the value of eyes. If you can close your eyes and do your regular things for just for half an hour, you will understand the value of your eyes. Such an important role the eyes are playing in our life. Isn't it interesting to know about the eyes and its structure? So let's start understanding about our eyes in detail. First, let us understand the structure which are outside the eyes. The first one is eyebrows. What do you think? What is the function of this eyebrow? These eyebrows are not just beauty icons. These are not meant for just to enhance the beauty of the person. But it is the structure which is helping the eyes and protecting the eye in its functioning. What do you think might be the function of this eyebrow? These eyebrows will not allow any of the water drops to fall into the eye directly. The next structure is eyelid. You can see here the eyelid which you can close, which helps in opening and closing of the eye, that is those are called eyelids. Again, these eyelids are also doing its function in protecting the eyeballs. So here is the eyeball which is having the main function in the visibility, and these eyelids are covering the eye to protect them from any damage. Next is eyelashes. Even these eyelashes are main structures in increasing the beauty of the eyes. But the function of the eyelashes is not to enhance the beauty. It has got its own function. The function of these eyelashes are protecting the eyeballs from any kind of dust particles or other unwanted things. That is why whenever any dust particles falls into our eyes, suddenly without our knowledge the eyelids will close and the eyelashes will blink so that it can protect the eyeballs. Other than these three, there is one more structure which we will not study as a structure of eye, but it is important and it is part of the eye. That is the lacrimal gland. This is the exact position of the lacrimal gland. So here in this picture you can see clearly this is the lacrimal gland. What is this lacrimal gland? These are the glands which are popularly known as tear glands. These glands contain the liquid which is called tear, and that tear has the enzyme which can kill the bacteria. So the main function of this tear is cleaning the eye and to kill the germs which are present in the eye. Now you might be thinking that it is good to cry. Yes, it is good to cry to kill the germs and to keep the eye clean. But continuous crying will lead to emotional downfall, so it's not good to keep on crying always. Tears are also an indicator of emotion. When the person is having any kind of emotion which he cannot express, it will come in the form of tears, especially when the person is sad or when the person is in any kind of pain. Sometimes, even when the person is very happy, the emotion will burst out in the form of tears. So, all these things which are going on inside our body, the emotions that will affect the hormonal changes in our body. So it is not good to cry always. Now, let us understand about the internal structure of the eye. The internal structure of the eye contains many parts which help in the proper functioning of the eye. The ball-like structure, what you can see here, this is called eyeball, and this eyeball is situated in a bony socket which is called orbit. If you touch your face below the eye, you can feel the circular bony structure inside which the eye is located. That bony structure is called orbit. Inside this orbit, the eyeballs are safely situated, and this bony orbit is protecting the eyeball. When we look into the detailed structure of the eye, we can see there are three layers which are covering the eye. The outermost layer is called sclera, middle layer is called choroid, and the inner layer is called retina. So you can see in this picture, the outermost white color layer is sclera, the blue color layer is choroid, and the inside red color layer is retina. So these are the three layers which are covering the eyeball and protecting the eyeball in different ways. These three layers have their own functions. This sclera is the outermost layer which is made up of protein called collagen. This sclera is tough tissue and which is made up of white collagen tissue. And the function of the sclera is protection. The second layer or the second membrane is choroid. This choroid is richly supplied with the blood. These contains the blood vessels and these blood vessels will supply the blood to the eye. The third layer, that is retina, which is light sensitive layer, which is having important two cells. Those are rod cells and cone cells. I'll come to that little later. So is it clear now what are the three layers? Outer layer is sclera, the middle layer is choroid, and the inner layer is retina. Apart from these three layers, there are other structure which are helping in the functioning of the eye, that is cornea, pupil, iris, lens, etc. Let us understand about each part in detail. Cornea is a bulged portion which is the continuation of the outermost layer, that is sclera. Already I have told you what is sclera. It is a tough layer which is the outermost covering of the eyeball. The continuation of this layer which is bulged little bit at the middle, that is called cornea. So this bulged region which is transparent, that is called cornea. The other region of the sclera, it is opaque. Opaque means which will not allow the light to pass through. So in this other region of sclera, the light cannot pass. Only the region where the light can pass is cornea. The next part is pupil. This pupil will help in the regulation of amount of light into the eye. That means the amount of light which has to pass inside the eye, that will be decided by the pupil. If the light is dim, then the pupil will expand to receive more light. If the light is bright, the pupil will contract to receive less amount of light. Like that, the contraction and relaxation of the pupil will help in regulation of the amount of light into the eye. This pupil is the region which you can see in your eyes, the dark circular black color structure exactly at the center, and you can observe the increase and decrease in the size of the pupil by doing a simple demonstration of standing in front of the mirror and using the torch. You can just observe how the pupil will react to the torchlight and to the ordinary light. The next structure is the iris. This iris is the colored portion of the eye. If you can call your eyes as brown eyes or blue eyes or green eyes, that color is because of the iris. So now you might have understood which part I'm talking about. The colored portion of the eye is iris. Next is lens. Lens is very important structure which helps in the formation of the image on the retina. These lens will receive the light and help in the formation of image in the third layer, that is the retina. Retina has light sensitive cells, that is rod cells and cone cells. Those cells will receive the light and help in the formation of image. This lens is held by the muscles which are called ciliary muscles, which is having the connection to the second layer, that is choroid. The choroid will continue and it will form a ciliary muscle, and these ciliary muscles will help in the proper positioning of the lens. Next, coming to the third layer, that is retina. The retina is the main layer or the membrane which is playing an important role in the formation of the image because it contains the photoreceptor cells. What are these photoreceptor cells? These are the cells which will receive the light and helps in the formation of the image in the retina. These photoreceptor cells are of two types, rod cell and the cone cell. You can see here the rod cell and the cone cell. Why the name has been given as rod and cone, you can guess by seeing the shape of the cell. You can see the shape of the rod cell is almost rod shape, that is why it is called rod cell, and the shape is cone like for the cone cells, that is why it is called cone cells. The cone cells will be active during the bright light and rod cells will be active during the dim light. Whether it is morning or night, irrespective of the time, if the light is dim, the rod cells will be active. If the light is bright, the cone cells will be active. Why do you think soon after coming out of the dark room, your eyes will take little bit time to adjust to the bright light and you cannot see the things suddenly? This is because the rod cells which were active in the dim light will be deactivated and the cone cells will get activated in the bright light. For this process, little time is required. So that is why suddenly when you come out of the dark room, you cannot see the things clearly. But later when the cone cells get activated completely, you can see the things normally. Cone cell produces a pigment called iodopsin and the rod cell produces a pigment called rhodopsin. These two pigments helps in the visual during dim light and during bright light. Then later when the image falls on the retina, that image will be forwarded to the next part, that is to the optic nerve. The optic nerve is a connection between the brain and the eye. The nerve which is traveling from eye to brain, that is called optic nerve. The signal whatever will be received by the brain, that will analyze the image and helps in the identification of the image. Apart from these structures, there are two more structures or two more chambers which you can see in the eye, that is aqueous humor and the vitreous humor. So this space what you can see here, this will be filled up with the liquid called vitreous humor. The front hollow portion will be filled up with the liquid, that is aqueous humor, and the back hollow portion of the eyeball is filled up with the liquid called vitreous humor. Sometimes the students will get confused between these two chambers. So to remember in an easier way, you can remember as always in the alphabetical order, A comes first. So you can remember as the whatever the first A is there, that is in the front, and later comes the V. Vitreous humor, later comes the V, so you can remember in that way. A is the first letter, so in the front chamber, and V is later, so it is in the backside of the eye. Even these two liquids are also having some functions. The aqueous humor will help in the protection of the cornea as well as the lens, the inner region. In this region it is filled, so the function of the aqueous humor is protecting the cornea and the lens. And what about the vitreous humor? The vitreous humor will help in the protection of the retina, that is the innermost layer, and the other part like lens, and also it gives the shape to the proper shape to the eye. If the eye is having proper ball shape, that is because of the vitreous chamber which is filled with the liquid. Apart from all these structures, one more structure you can find which is very minute, that is yellow spot, which is also called fovea centralis, and also a spot called blind spot that will be here in this region. This yellow spot and blind spot are the two spots which are present or which are located on the retina. The yellow spot is a region where more number of cone cells are present. So we'll get more clarity of image in this region. Whereas in the blind spot, since there are no cone cells, the image fallen on the blind spot will be no use. The image will not be formed if the light falls on the blind spot. But whereas in the yellow spot is a clear image formation, if the image falls on this region, we will get the clear image. You can check this by taking a book and reading the book without moving your eyeball. Is it possible to read without moving your eyeball? Yes, it is possible, but it is little stressful. But if you move your eyeball easily, that even gives a clarity also, and even it is not that much stressful compared to without moving your eyeball. What do you think? Why you will move your eyeball? You will move your eyeball so that the whatever the image is falling, it should fall exactly on this fovea centralis region. This region gives the clear image formation. That is why the eyeball will move in such a way that the whatever the images fall, that should fall on the fovea region. Hope it is clear now what are the parts of the eye and what is its function, what the each part will do, how it is important in the formation of image, and what is its role. All these things you have learnt in detail.